Hi there, it's Shell. So I want to show you guys what I've got done on these books. What I did is I made a 2.5-inch spine and I covered it with fabric, and I went ahead and sewed in my signatures. And on the inside of each of these books, the insides were horrible. So what I did is I just covered them first before I put on the fabric and sewed in my signatures. I found some paper that I liked, and I went ahead and glued those down. So, and I've been missing for a while. Sorry about that. Let me fix this. I had a horrible migraine for about 3 days. It took a long time to kind of get over it. Muscle relaxers and things like that, because it's my neck migraines. So anyways, this book is the one that I'm, kind of working on, and then the blue book over here is the one to the side. And I'm working on both of these, and then I'll decide which one I want to keep. But this one, I went ahead, I scrubbed the covers with some baby wipes and erasers, whatever I needed to do to get them clean, or as clean as I could get them. And this 25 cents up here is in pin, so that wouldn't come off. I want to put corners on here, but the ones I have are too narrow. I couldn't get them to work. So I placed an order on Amazon, so I'm waiting for that to get some nice corners for both of the books. And while I was resting, because the only thing that helps my headaches is rest, I did a lot of coffee dyeing. Well, I didn't do the coffee dyeing, but I sewed on the coffee dyeing. And actually I didn't sew it, but I glued it because I had to sit back on a heating pad while I was working on that. So I want to kind of show you guys what I have done in the last 3 or 4 days. I made some of Miss Gayle's, some of her envelopes. So, and this one, I misplaced it. It was right in front of me, but I misplaced it. So I haven't sewn it yet, but I did sew, these other ones. I have that. It's just a scrap. And this one, and they turned out so cute. So I want to go ahead and use some of these to decorate our book. So, and we'll input some of our ephemera. I have a lot of ephemera to go in here. So here's part of it, and I was able to rip some from that really fragile book, which is the blue book. The original pages were really fragile. So I went ahead and tore out some pieces that I thought would work for decoration. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do today. I'm still looking for something to cover the fabric. Sorry, there's a hair. Come here, come here. And so I want something here and on the outside as well, so it looks, nicer and more put together. But right now we're just going to work on seeing what else we need on each page. So again, I have some of these. And I'll probably save part of the envelopes that I made for the other book. And of course we have our faux front envelope, which is so cute. This is Miss Gayle's idea, Miss Gayle Agostinelli. So let's just kind of see what we can do about getting these done. Like I said, I think my Amazon order is supposed to be here today, which is Saturday. And as soon as I get that, I will finish up the book and I'll do a flip through. But I just wanted to kind of bring you guys along and see what else we could put in here. So one thing I was thinking is these little torn out pieces. because like I said, they're very, very fragile. So I wanted to use some in this book, or in both of the books, and I thought I would just kind of tear them out and kind of like use them as stickers. But since the time period is the same as the book, I thought they'd go really nicely in here. So I just don't want any like straight edges in here, so I'm just gonna pull apart. But see how it just rips so easily. I really don't want, you know, that part, the straight edges. So I have my ink blender, and I want to go ahead and ink around each one of these. And you know, this is another good idea to use up some of your book pages, especially if they have beautiful illustrations like these did. So I'm using my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to kind of go through some of these blank pages and see what we can put in here, or what I can put in here. So it just will kind of decorate it up a little bit. So as you're journaling, or as whoever gets this book is journaling, they have a little decoration on each of the blank pages. Sorry about that. Didn't have my thing in there. See, I could use the back if I wanted to. I'm focusing still on friendship because this is a friendship book. And I say he's friends with his little lamb. But, you know, you can put more. You could certainly put a little collage here if you wanted to. But, again, I'm trying to kind of keep them as one-dimensional as possible, so that, like, if you're writing on the back of this, you won't have a bunch of bulk. So, see, do I want something on this side over here? But yeah, I just pulled tons of these papers, well, not tons, but a few of them. And some of them I made some little collages, and I'll show you those here in a minute. They're over here on my desk. But just anything I thought that might work. I love the little kitten. So maybe I'll put the little kitten right there. Just, you know, little odds and ends that may not have gotten used up. Is kind of what I wanted to put in here. That way I can use some of the book and just have fun with it. So I hope you guys have been well. Today is the 2nd of February, and you know, my mother passed February the 1st, would have been 3 years ago that she moved to heaven. And you know, I always say that she moved to heaven because during her last 5 days I spent time with her in hospice, and that's pretty much what we talked about the whole time, was her marrying her one true love. And she would get married when all of her children were there. And she started talking about it on January the 27th. And my sister showed up on January the 31st. And my mother passed away. All the children were there on the 31st. Passed away 16 hours later. After all the children were there, she would get married to her true love. And you know, it's just something I wanted to share with you guys. It's always a special reminder to me how happy she was. And I mean, she was giddy about, you know, marrying her true love. And when I would cry, she'd say, "Michelle, what's wrong?" And she said, "I know you're crying from happiness." And you know, I knew that I was losing her, because when I got the call, they said she was pretty much comatose. And when I showed up, she wasn't. She knew who I was. She was very lucid. Well, it seemed like it. You know, she knew who I was the whole time. But then, on another aspect, you know, they said she was very fragile. And we talked about her getting married the whole time I was in with hospice with her. So, and we figured out that to her, what she was talking about was Jesus was her true love. So I like to think that we planned her. She didn't have much luck with, you know, men on earth, and she knew that this one would love her. She said she was forgiven, and that she'd be married to someone who she could trust, you know, 100%, and it was her true love. So anyways, I don't want to go, you know, into a lot of detail, but yesterday was her 3rd year of moving to heaven, and, you know, I just thought I would kind of tell you guys a little bit about that. It was a very special time for me, and a very hard time. Let's see. I think I want, oops, all my things I have over here. I don't really want to cover up a lot of journaling space, so I'm just going to kind of look through here, and let's go ahead and put a pocket there, but I don't want that one because it's got the same little the little boy there. But yeah, this is one of the first years that I haven't had, you know, a really hard time with my mom. You know, like I said, her birthday was January the 27th, and she would have been 72 this year. She had just turned 69 when she passed. Okay, let's see what else we need in here. That's a little bit plain for me. So what do I want to do? So I tore out some of these, and I probably won't be using the lady with the broom. I just thought it was cute, and the kids. Mainly, again, I'm focusing on children singing, or children being together, because this is friendship. So oh, this is going to have a straight edge, I think. I'm just going to put it like straight up against the edge. I don't really like the straight edges, but since I'm going to, well, there's really no room to pull anything off. So what I'm going to do is just put it right next to the edge. But I really wanted to use some of this book, and there's not a lot of ways to use it. I want to, you know, kind of do some experimenting on how to protect these, or how to use some of these really fragile pages without just using them in a collage. That's cute. I like that. What about the other side? Of course, I still have tons of these pages, so it's not, you know, that big of a thing. Let's put this little boy. But yeah, and I haven't heard from my brother or anything, so he must have taken, you know, this year pretty well also. Christmas was hard for him this year. I think just the remembering, and Mom lived in the same town he did, and for many years. And so, you know, we're in Colorado, she was in Texas with my brother, and, you know, it's harder on him because, you know, they picked her up for church every Sunday and stuff like that. But I haven't talked to him this season. Where do I want him? Let's put him in the middle, just because. Still enough room to journal around him. And each one of these signatures has about 10 to 12 pages. And You know, it's kind of just a little. Ooh, doesn't work. I kind of like that. Okay, I'm just going to tear this apart. So the whole book, you know, each book has about 120 pages front and back. And the reason I do 2.5-inch spines is because I feel like I never have enough room with 2-inch spines by the time I get all the ephemera in. So I just started making them 2.5-inch spines, and I feel, you know, I feel happier with them. I feel like I can really put in a lot of ephemera and just enjoy it. Enjoy, you know, putting in whatever I want to put in there. There we go. I think I'm going to leave the back empty just to give them a little bit more journaling room. This, if you remember, this was a pocket that we did Miss Gayle's technique on folding it over. So let me see what I have. I do have a guest check I could just stick in there, maybe. That'll be perfect. Let me just kind of add a little bit of distress ink. So what I did when I glued these on coffee dyed paper is I just glue them in the center and then go around the edges with the sewing machine. So just simple. It's lightly coffee dyed, that piece was. Put that in there. Maybe something else. Let's see. Some of these are so cute. Maybe something like that. And then this piece, I could put like a postcard pocket or postcard image. Again, these images are from Kelly Crafts by Kelly. Kelly's Crafts by Kelly. The Etsy store will be below. So I think it's Kelly's Crafts by Kelly on Etsy. So just kind of go through here, kind of see what we want to do. This one is kind of plain, but let's put our, good boy, Sammy. Sammy, he brings in a toy and then he sits there and meows until you tell him he's a good boy. I tell you, they're so funny. Okay, so Sammy's our old man. He's our old man cat. And he was really, really sick when we brought him in. And we raised him, and so his real name is Samson because he was a strong man. And that's cute. I need something right here. Let's see what I have. Here. I wanted to show you these. What I did is, these are just some leftover cardstock that I have in the books, and I just did a collage of some of the paper and some music paper, and then I put an old stamp on there. I think I'm going to stick that in there like that. And then this will go like this, or like this, maybe right here. And I'll get a paper clip. I don't think I have any paper clips right here beside me, so I'll put a paper clip there to keep that in place. Let's see, what else do we want in this book? This is really kind of empty. Let's put another, put that for the other book. all these little kids are in like a little musical, playing bells and drums. But I loved how they're kind of like 2 by 2, like sisters or best friends or something. So that's one reason I, kept these particular papers. See if I can tear it out the way it needs to be torn out. Okay. I think this is definitely one of my favorite books. I probably say that about every book I do, every journal, but I really just enjoy this. I just think it's fun, this theme, and I like the brightness of the colors. Oops. So I haven't been doing too much, I have to, like I said, when my neck hurts so bad. And what it was, I think it was just a bad pinched nerve, but it ends up giving me a bad neck ache, which ends up being a migraine. So it kind of wraps around my neck. And so I've just been sitting and watching, actually watching the Hallmark Channel, surprise. But it's the Hallmark app on my iPad. And I was watching something called Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and it's about these postal workers who kind of get old letters to the dead letter office. So some of the letters are like 15 years old, 32 years old, something like that, and they solve who the letter goes to. And that's a really fun series, so I've kind of been watching that and just relaxing and laying on the heating pad. I took more muscle relaxers than I normally would, but so I've been sleeping a lot because I just can't function with muscle relaxers. So I guess I need a chiropractor or something. But if I sleep wrong or do something that I shouldn't do, that's when I have issues. So, I think I'll put that there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and skip to the back because I'm kind of running out of paper, and I want to make sure I have enough, for whatever I want to do. In here, I can always get more paper and pull things out, or, make more ephemera. But I just decorating today, and I just thought I would do a craft with me. I did the, sewed in the signatures and all that. I think I did that yesterday when I was starting to feel a little bit better. And today I felt really a whole lot better, but that's when I have to be really careful because then I tend to overdo. And I might have kind of like a relapse. So that's not good, but I love that. Pluto is my friend. Okay, so we have another little place here. Let's do this really cheerful one. So my husband's been home quite a bit this week. Things have kind of slowed down. We didn't get the like the polar vortex or anything. But, there just wasn't a whole lot of work going on. People were out of town, going to different places for work and stuff. So he was able to be home most of the week. I think he was home all day Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday, I believe. And he has finally got his sewing machine cabinet just about finished. As far as, see, that's way too big for that page. As far as stripping it, he's been trying to get it stripped down and so he can refinish it. And that's a lot of work, he's taking little piece by little piece out and doing that, and that is a lot of work. So he's been busy. He's napping right now. He's got that fibromyalgia and stuff, and he needs the nap to kind of helps his body heal. So especially if he's having a bad day, he'll take muscle relaxers, and they don't affect him like they do me. He can take like 4 a day, and I take 1 and I'm out for 48 hours. So, but he really is not feeling very good, but he's working on that. Oops. Made the cat run. The cats are all napping right now, so I thought it would be a good time to do a video. And I was going to, I dozed off for a few minutes, but not very long. There we go. I love these little images. I think they are so precious. Let's see, I have another postcard. Oops, hold on, let me grab my ink blender. I dropped it on the floor. I'll be right back. Okay. We have kind of hardwood floors in here. So when I drop something, especially if it's round, it's going to go all the way across the room. So this year we're going to put carpet in here again. We used to have carpet, old carpet. When we first moved in, and about 10 years ago, we put in kind of those pergo floors. But I think we're ready to go back to carpet, even though we have so many critters. Have to make sure we have a vacuum nearby and carpet cleaner and stuff. I think it'll be more work because we do have cats and stuff, but it's such an old house that it gets so cold in here. And you know, my husband has been diagnosed with neuropathy, so his legs and feet are really hurting and they get really cold. So we think that will definitely help the house, and we're getting old. He turned 50. He soon will be 51. And he thinks we really need carpet, and I love carpet. You know, I think it's fun to sit on and stuff like that too. I think that's definitely going to add quite a bit to this little book. I could put something here. You know, I could put a guest check, because this doesn't really stand for anything. I think I will. I think I'll do that. Make it into a pocket. So, let me see what I want to do here. So really all I'm doing right now is just kind of doing odds and ends and just kind of making things work. Kind of, you know, those little things that you think, I need something else, but what do I need? That's what I'm working on. Okay. So I'm just going to do 3 areas. And yes, this is coffee dyed already on the back, but that's not only going to make my paper sturdier, but if I was to use it as a journaling card, and I didn't know when I was sewing them together. So, make sure I get it really close to the edge. So I wasn't sure what I was going to use this or how I was going to use it, but now I'm going to use it like this, so I didn't need necessarily to put that coffee dye paper on there. But I do like the sewing, so I think that's going to work really nice. And then we will put something in here. Oops. I'll let that dry for a minute. Quit popping up. Let's see. And a couple more things on this one. And you could do the same thing with one of these. Let's use this maybe. Actually, I might want to put this on the very back. I like that. I think that's what I'll do. Is I'm just going to make it a pocket. So again, I'm just going to do 3 sides. And these are just envelopes I took from my bills, because we get a bunch of mail and they just always have, you know, different bills and stuff, return envelopes and things like that. So I just pull those out of my bills and use them because I pretty much pay everything online. I went ahead and glued the flap down so when I put things in the pocket it doesn't, you know, cause an issue. So I'm just going to put that there. Then we're going to let that dry and we'll come back and put stuff in there. So let's see. Definitely getting fuller, even just putting, you know, those few things in there. So this is kind of what I do. I just keep going through it and looking to see what I want to put. So I'm back to the second signature because I was able to put some things in the end. Because sometimes I have noticed, you know, I might have enough stuff for the middle and the first signature, but I want it to go all the way through the book. So I'm just going to put the rest of this picture here, except for that little leg right there. I just love these. It reminds me so much of reading like Dick and Jane and things like that. And I picked these books up this last summer. This one lady, she was a school teacher, and she had this huge yard sale. They were downsizing. They're about in their 80s now. And she asked me what I was going to do with all these books, and I told her I was going, you know how a lot of times you keep your mouth shut and you don't say what you're doing with them? But she was a really sweet lady, so I told her I was repurposing them into junk journals, and she was so excited. So that is an unusual response. They used to melt bottles, like old Coke bottles and stuff, and people would get mad, you know. So I learned early on that you don't tell people necessarily what you're doing with their old treasures. You just kind of keep your mouth shut. But she was such a sweet lady, and I told her, and she said, I want to see it when you're done. So I may have to take one over to her so she can see it. So, but her and her husband were elderly, and they wanted to downsize before something, you know, happens to them. You can make some of these into little pockets. Let me see what else I want to do here. I do have this. And let me see what page I could put it on in here. I think I'm going to put it on this eco-dyed paper. And what you do, see the back? Definitely one of my return addresses or envelopes. So go ahead like this. I'm going to go ahead and stain it because when I folded it, it kind of cracked. But you can hide a lot of mistakes with some distress ink. Put just a touch of glue on those cracks too, and just kind of hold them over and see if that kind of helps. A little bit there. There we go. And then I will attach it actually to this page, and that will be an extra tuck spot, 2 pockets. Actually, it'll be 4 pockets. That's cute. So I'm just going to put glue on the side, on the bottom. And sometimes if I'm careful about how I open my mouth, I can use those envelopes also. So make sure it's going the right way. See if I can get it in here the way it needs to go. I don't have it all the way down to the bottom, but that's okay, that doesn't bother me. And then as it dries, we'll kind of put some stuff in there. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. Let's see what else we can do, or see if we need anything. I love this. I think this is so cool. I did this, I think, in the last video, so you can go and check that out if you're interested in that. I have another postcard here. Stick that one in here. I love these little belly bands. I think they're so precious. I know. I'm goofy. And all these were just for one. What am I thinking? It was all for one digital kit from one digital kit. So I actually cut out 2 of these for each of the books, so each book will have all of these in there. And if there's something I don't use that I made especially for this book, I will send it along with the book if you purchase this one or the one I'm selling. I haven't really decided which one yet. I want to keep one for my own journaling purposes. I'm just going to make this into a little text spot. Sorry, my brain's still not quite up to par. So I'm kind of stumbling all over myself today. Let's see, make something there. And I think that's almost it. Let's see what else I have. So I have all these little goodies here. But, let me see. I still have some. Oh, that's cute. These are actually the better pages. They're not the really crunchy ones. I'm not sure where I stuck the crunchy ones. I may have put them up already. Oh wait, here's some. You see, these are bigger. So those are my crunchy ones. And I just kind of want to use some of these up. Some of the pictures and stuff. There's not a whole lot here. Let's see what else I have. Maybe I'll put a little dog. Dogs are a man's best friend after all. These are some I didn't like how, what I did is I put cardstock on here and it was too thick. So I think I'll do that. Cute. So again, I'm just taking off those straight corners, edges. And some of the pieces that you take off, you might can use in a, in a collage or something. So like I use some of the writing and stuff. That's so cute. But these, unless you put them on, a heavier cardstock or something, You can't really use them as they are for a pocket or a flip, you know, pocket or a tuck spot, because they are so very fragile. Okay, let's see what else we want to do to here. I didn't put any lace, though I have thought of it, but I thought I would just use that to whoever, you know, leave that to whoever is interested in this. If you remember, we made these little Gayle Agostinelli's little areas. I had forgotten about these, but I need to make some tags that will fit in here. Let's see what else we need to do. Kind of remind myself. I love this. I think it's turning out so cute. Now here I could put some little charms. I got some new fiber for tying in the signatures, and I love it so much more than what I was using. There's no stretch to it. The one I was using before had stretch, but I really like that. This, I feel like we need something here. It just feels kind of empty to me. I guess too big, you know, and it's unusable, kind of. So I may have to come back later and make something for this space. Or I could use like this. I think I'll do that, and then I'll make another one for my other journal. I think I'm just going to glue it here and here. That way it has room for like a big tuck spot if I decide to do that. This was a leftover piece from one of my envelopes, so I just made it into a small pocket. There's a lot going on as far as patterns on this page, but I think once I, you know, get some items in here and stuff, it won't seem so colorful. It'll kind of be, you know, toned back a little bit. So that will be in there, and then I'll put something else in the back. What I tend to do is take a lot of my leftovers and make journaling cards out of them. Things like that. Let's see, I still feel like I need something here. Maybe we'll put another dog, because that one dog was all the way over to the side. For these little boys, those are cute. They're in black and white, but that's okay. I don't want to tear off too much of their heads, so. There we go. Looks like they're playing now. But even when I do the distress ink, if I'm not careful, it'll rip the page because it is just so old. This book is from 1947, I think. And actually what I did, I don't know if I did it on this one or not. Yeah, on the back of this card, I put the copyright on it. And this one will go in the other book, which is where these pages are from. And that one was copyrighted in 1947. I think actually both of them may be the same copyright date. But the other paper, the smaller book paper, wasn't near as fragile. And then I put washi tape here to cover up a tear. I love that. I think that's so cute. You can remember to put a paper clip in there. So probably what I need to do is make a little bit more ephemera, like I need something for this pocket here. Can I tone it down so too that we can see it? because I kind of tend to overlook it. But I need something for this pocket, maybe a couple of things like up top, maybe some paper clips or something like that. I have some more of still journaling cards. Put in some of these here. That's kind of cute. I love the picture of this little boy. He reminds me of my little grandbaby. I think I've mentioned that before. You kind of talk and you don't really remember what you've been saying, you know. So I might just jabber about something I said a couple of videos ago. But I really like to put all of these in the journals, because otherwise you end up with way too much paper. And if you can see my paper stash, one of these days I'm going to get my craft room cleaned. I work on it here and there once in a while, but if you can see my paper stash, I have so much paper, it's crazy. Let's see. So I do feel like I need a few more items in here. Let's see what time it is. And I need to go ahead and put stuff in my other book. There's my cat again. Good job, Sammy. I think it's Sammy. It might be Lily Mae. She does the same thing. So, let's see. Maybe these little boys. Ooh, maybe the whole little area. That's cute. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, when I tear this one little person off so that you can't really see that I tore her body off. But I just love being creative and kind of using what you already have in different ways, you know. Because I was thinking, what am I going to do with all these papers? Because they're so fragile. And then I decided that I would use them as my ephemera inside my book. Let's see. I just love that. I think that's so cute. And then I'm going to put that down here on the bottom. Make sure it fits. Might like it wouldn't fit. And I plan on using my book and kind of showing you how I use my journals. I have shown in the past how I use them. I haven't used a lot this year so far, and I've been wanting to make myself, you know, a journal or purchase one. And every time I find one to purchase, it sells before I get a chance to get there. So, it's so cute. So I'll probably make some more of these little tags. I have tons of little stamps I want to use. So I made tons of these little booklets. Probably saw them in one of the videos. So I'm going to go through real quick and just put some of these little pockets in here. But there's some other ones that I want to do. Also, let's see, I'll pull out this one. Maybe this one for now. But I have tons of stamps. I think I bought several hundred, 400 or something. So I know I want this in that one, this one, because they fit so well in the bottom of these little envelopes. So I knew I wanted those for here. Like that. And what they are is just little stamp books that I have some coffee dye paper leftovers, and I just sewed them in there so you can write little messages in there if you'd like to. And let's see, I don't want it straight. There we go. So I have that, and I have other pieces of ephemera I want to put in here. I might put like a big piece right here with maybe some lace on the outside. We'll see. And I guess that's it for now. Oh, I wanted to talk to you guys about this. I was thinking I have this piece of doily that I have cut up, and I was thinking about maybe putting a piece up here to cover that 25-cent thing, but I haven't really made up my mind if I want to cover it up or if I don't. Because I like the style of it, it just looks kind of neat. Kind of like a kid just wrote 25 cents on it, maybe to put it in a yard sale or something like that, you know, way back when. I have an idea for the closure, and it's getting pretty full, as you can tell. It's not near as thin as it was, because, you know, even though it doesn't seem like you're putting tons of ephemera in here, I always put so much that it ends up getting alligator mouth, and I feel like I need it to have room for whoever gets this journal, because, you know, I realized, especially when I was doing the December daily, that I wanted to put pictures or cards or, you know, things like that in my journals, and they got really, really big, even though you can take out, you know, some of these items. But when we come back, I think I'm going to try to find something for the edges here, and hopefully my corners will be in, and we're about ready for a flip through. So that might be what I do. I might just finish this off camera, because you kind of know where I'm going and what I'm doing. If I come up with something else, like maybe I'll come up with some paper clips or something, and I did have that as an idea, then I will share that with you guys, and we'll just see where we're at from here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry there hasn't been a video in a few days, but I'm still working on these guys, and they will be ready soon. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. Be sure and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next video. You guys have a wonderful day.